let's just start here. So just to give you an overview of what to expect. Well, first of all, welcome again. I'm so excited to have all of you join me today for this workshop. And uh, we're expecting a number of people. Maybe they'll be piling in and out as the hour moves through. But I want to get to the workshop portion as quickly as possible so we can co-create something together. Really, it will be a framework for kind of like context engineering with AI. So for those of you not familiar with that, this may be a new resource for you. And for those of you who are experts, you can, show us and help us, put us onto how you're working with AI. So we'll do I want to kind of set the stage and think about where we are in terms of AI and kind of what's going on in the world with it and how it's impacting us. And then do a little bit of workshop and then talk through some of the things that I'm building and how I got started. And then from there, we can do some co-authoring of a framework that we can take with us from this workshop. So, and just feel free to, you know, put your comments and questions in the chat. So just a bit about me. I am co-founder of Elay Strategies, and we're supporting organizations with team training and integration with AI integration. So AI fluency training and just looking at some of the low-hanging fruit that organizations can begin tackling for just understanding where they are, what makes sense to them in terms of AI right now. And of course, to ensure that it's whatever organizations are pursuing, the ones that we're working with, at least, it is there's a sound approach that it's ethical and it's human-centered. My background is mostly in nonprofit management and fund development and climate resilience. And so that's my domain, as they call it. That's how I am. That's the context in which I'm working with as far as AI goes. And I recently published a book called AI with Purpose. It's on Amazon in print and on Kindle Unlimited. So I put that plug out there. And yay, thank you, Deanne. And I bring 10 years of higher education teaching design management at Parsons Graduate School of Design Strategies and City College of New York, CUNY, where I taught social entrepreneurship and ran the public policy program called the Colin Powell Fellowship Programs. And so that's my background, and I'm coming to AI from that perspective. So feel free to, in the chat, tell us what your domain is as far as AI goes. Are you a techie, or do you have a tech background, or are you coming to AI as an artist or an educator, or you're just kind of, figuring things out? So let us know in the chat. So as far as AI transformation, like right now, some of what makes us hopeful and what concerns us just in terms of what we hear in the news or what we're experiencing, I'd also like to hear from you just regarding your experience and what's going on with you with AI. So for me, what makes me hopeful is the medical breakthroughs and scientific breakthroughs, accelerated self-paced learning. That's how I've been learning AI for the most part, and along with communities like this, and supporting creative pursuits. And of course, issues around mental health and cognitive offloading and work slop and job loss and economic impacts, of course, but the ecological impacts of data centers and whether or not that's an issue. There's a debate going back and forth. Those are the things that concern me, but I'm still hopeful about the potential of AI in our lives. So, and Samuel says that he's a student using AI to gather a large grouping of academic research papers. Wonderful. So that's great. Anyone else? Please share. And David is using AI to educate people on multiple subjects, currently putting together content for end-of-life care. Wow, that's great. And your music producer platform. So be sure to drop your links, and I'll share the form where you can put your projects any projects you want folks to check out or collaborate on. That would be great. And Felix is working on a student using AI to aid in research. That's great. So concerns around AI, do these topics resonate with you, or what you're optimistic about? So obviously some of you are already using AI for various projects and important work. Everyone here, I'm assuming, at least use ChatGPT, or you use Siri, which is also AI, even though it's a bit more, we don't think about it, but it's been there. It's been in those smartphones we've been using for a really, really, really long time. So anyone want to talk about what they're hopeful about or concerned about? Just drop that in the chat and I'll come back to it. So as I said, just some stats, AI is increasingly embedded in our everyday life and has been for a long time, but we've been more actively using LLMs, large language models, with ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity and all of the tools. But with hospitals are using AI for diagnostics, and students are using it, of course, and there's a debate around how students are using AI and whether or not they should be using it. And I think that's interesting, an interesting conversation. And 54% of us, according to this article in June in Forbes magazine, 54% of us globally, I believe, will use AI to make consumer decisions. And so more and more it's about how these tools will be transformed to possibly replace the internet. That's what a lot of folks are saying. So right now we Google to determine what we want to buy. I use Reddit actually, which I need other humans to tell me whether or not to purchase something. I don't know how that'll come together. I think that's interesting. So that's where we are. And Deanne says she's hopeful in terms of time and efficiency in using AI and deep research, and of course the future of work. And Ray says, hi, Ray. Ray has been so great, even though he doesn't want me to mention him, but I'll mention him anyway. To some of us in this chat, he's been or in this workshop, he's been very much of a mentor and advisor around all things tech for a really, really long time. So Ray is mostly concerned about the ethical use, as well as how people might be conditioned. Hey, Ray. Might be conditioned to not think and question what they get from AI. Absolutely. So Ray and I talk a lot about AI slop and hallucinations and all those things that I never thought I'd use on an everyday basis. Those words I never thought I'd use on an everyday basis. And so, as Deanne mentioned, job loss. So 41% of organizations globally plan to reduce their workforce as AI automates certain tasks. And this is according to the World Economic Forum. And also the World Economic Forum, and you can check out their Future of Jobs report for 2025. The flip side of this is that according to their projections, and of course we're not certain, that there will be, although there's a number of job losses and job cuts coming down the pike, AI and a number of other issues like with climate change adaptation globally, and other areas of advancement, technological and scientific advancement, medical advancements, that there will be the need for, there will be 78 million new jobs. Now that is, and these are new job opportunities. Now, that doesn't sound to me, this is hopeful, but it doesn't, if we look at the scale of humans globally, that's not a whole lot of people employed, right? And so, we have to, it's hopeful, but we need those numbers to increase in order for that to put our concerns to rest for a bit. But some of the skills that kind of go along with this new the new labor market is, of course, AI and big data, but things like creative thinking and technological literacy and flexibility and agility and curiosity and lifelong learning, all of these things, I think analytical thinking, are areas that even if we're not certain, of the trajectory of our jobs or a particular industry, we know that these are skills and mindsets that will carry us, for a long time, right? And so I think that's where we should focus our efforts and just kind of developing these skills. And we can do that with our own individual projects also within our work, but if you're early career, if you're a student or early career or college to career transition, if you're in that space, then definitely your projects are where and kind of collaborating on projects is where you can hone these skills. And so let's just want to see what folks are saying in the chat. And Denise, who's my mom, it says that she's mostly concerned about the economic impact of AI related to potential job loss, and it's a concern for entry level. And upskilling does require an investment. So who's investing in? How do people access, other than working on their own projects, if they can afford to and have access to people to guide them and have access to resources and reliable internet and all of the things, the infrastructure required to be, to kind of stay in the loop. How do we ensure that can actually happen? And I thought a Harvard Business Review recently had a really great article about the risk of this disconnected generation. So while we're in the process of upskilling, if there are all of these job cuts, we may have people that have these like early career, college to career students, for instance, or entry level workers who haven't had the opportunity to work and train in a space where, let me back up, because jobs are really where we develop skill sets and develop certain and kind of develop personally and professionally. Without that economic opportunity, without that space, there's a lag in, there'll be a lag and also a gap in the demographic of professionals who are prepared to take on the skills and who are prepared to take on the new requirements for the workforce and who haven't really had a sound space to really develop those skills, if that makes sense to you. And so with all of these changes, for me, it's kind of happening like it's just a push for AI without a lot of planning, because in a recent report by MIT, 95% of AI enterprise projects, as their research uncovered, have not delivered on expected outcomes. So companies are cutting jobs or, eliminating entry-level positions, but their projects that they're taking on that's supposed to replace workers in part, I guess, that's part of their enterprise projects, they're not living up to, expectations. And so a lot of this is decision making and uncertainty, which is scary, can be scary, although we're optimistic about AI in many ways. And so it's, just determining what future roles would be and skills and business models and regulatory frameworks and so many different areas that, we'll have to see how it plays out. And so today's session is really about our relationship with AI, how we're using it, and how do we design design the tools, in a way that really serves our values and how we want to work together and how we want to shape AI in our lives. And so one thing I wanted to tackle, what I had in mind with this workshop, is the AI work slop issue. And I don't think it's an AI issue. I feel like if you've been working for a long time, or if you're a student and you've worked on group projects, you've dealt with work slop, even if it's not AI generated. And so there are a number of questions, I think, that come up around why someone would share work that's low effort or unhelpful, or, it's just, they just cut and paste something from AI or cut and paste from the internet or a blog. That's been happening for a really, really, really long time, right? And my students would complain about it all the time. And so, yeah, it's not a new thing, but I'm just wondering, in the chat, tell us, have you been work slopped? Have you been work slopped by your colleagues or your business partner, or, you're working on a project and just, and how do you, maybe one word to describe that emotion? So let us know in the chat. Have you been work slopped? Right. And so really, I think it's a matter of critical thinking. There are a lot of issues here, but of course, it's critical thinking and empathy. So while AI can boost our output as much as 40% in text-based tasks, for those of us who are just accepting, and they say this article in science.org is based on research that was conducted. It's they say novices, but you know, that's we've had long-term colleagues who have work slopped us. So I think it's there's some other things going on here. And so Ray says, he says it's death by PowerPoint. That's been going on for a really long time, right? And the founder of PayPal, or he was in, not PayPal, and before PayPal, the ADP, the payroll, the big payroll company. He used this term called DINK, data is not knowledge. And this was like years ago, and just saying that he doesn't accept reports that's just like dense with data without analysis. So this is not anything new. We're just bringing our values and adding this AI tool to it. So I'm not going to blame AI in that case when it comes to the work slop thing. So death by PowerPoint, uh, and extremely dense. That's not suited for presentations. So yeah. So AI is just another tool, just like Word or Excel. We do great work with Excel and Word, or we do terrible work with it. And it's really about you know, what I got borrowed this from General Assembly's presentation for AI Week, which and I adapted it a bit and added this design thinking, these questions around design thinking. So it's a checklist. So who is this for? What are we creating? What are we generating? Even if it's a simple prompt, or, content from a prompt that we've generated, or it's an app that we're building. How do we know that this is meaningful, and how will it serve whoever we're designing for? And how do we independently verify the information? How do we disclose whether it's AI assisted or generated? And could this perpetuate bias or harm? And I'll tell you, I did use AI to help me generate this. So in the spirit of integrity and anti-work slop, I did use AI to help me generate, but I think as you can see, I'm not a great PowerPoint designer, so you could see the humanity come through as well. And Samuel says that he's contributed to the slop work himself, and has shown him the negative cognitive effects of relying on AI and shifting from reading. Yes, yes, and that's a great reflection, and I've definitely fallen into that trap, I will admit. So yeah, that's great. So yeah, this is about I guess a key takeaway for me is just pairing human judgment, empathy, and creativity alongside AI scale and speed, which we love. But as someone remarked this week, it's like there's so much content that we generate, like from, we're sitting there prompting all day and doing all these exercises, and it's just so much, and it can be overwhelming. So it's how do we approach it thoughtfully, so that we're not, by the time we're done with a prompting session, we actually have something that we want to read and that it's useful, and we have the energy to actually synthesize it. And so getting started, I think it sounds like most of you have using AI. Oh, and Ray, let me see. Wait a minute. Oh, and Ray says he's done work slot way before AI analysis by paralysis, too much data problem. Yep. And so just getting started for those of you who are new to AI, you may start with prompt engineering, which is just crafting effective instructions for AI. And there are a number of resources, and I'll be sharing them throughout. The workshop. And there's context engineering, so setting the stage and onboarding the AI tool so that you get optimal output. And then there are low code tools you can use, and using ChatGPT. And really, I use ChatGPT to coach me through some low code tools. And I'll show you what I've been doing. So where do you see yourselves? I see that some of you are already doing research using AI, and but I know many of you, just because I've had conversations with you, are on the spectrum of AI use. So, but already, if you're using Google, which most of you, I'm assuming you are, you got on Zoom today, so you're probably using Google. Google has an AI mode and all of that. So and of course Siri, but for using large language models like ChatGPT and Claude, I'm curious so where you are. And so, well, let me ask, because I was planning on um, doing, I was planning on doing the design jam where we create a framework, like a meta prompt that we can take with us from today and kind of co-author together. But wanted to warn through for people who were new to um, context engineering, which is really just using frameworks to help set the stage, as I said, and onboard your AI tool. Do you think it would be helpful? Just let me know in the chat. Do you want to move forward with creating the framework and I can run through the projects that I've worked on? Or do you want to take a pause and practice context engineering? Don't be shy, let me know. And while you decide, I will just check the. Okay, so it looks like, well, we have two votes for see the example, so we'll move forward. And I'll leave this framework for you to use on your own. So it sounds like I'll just move through the example. So today we're going to do a custom GPT, or depending on your interest, we can just stay on and talk about the projects that I've worked on, and kind of using those tools. Um, So I started with using Zapier for workflow, um, just to help with workflow and auto generating um, strategic plan frameworks for clients. So have any of you used Zapier? Let me know in the chat if you can. Have you used Zapier yet? And so I started out with actually, I should start here. So what I wanted to do was just learn how to build something low code or no code, just to understand how AI works and kind of the systems thinking and just kind of using those design thinking frameworks. And so let me go back. So this is my Zapier. One of my Zapier tools is um, a resilience lens plan generator. So the idea is to help organizations, maybe who don't have a large budget for consultants, to just to help them prioritize key issues right now, with whether it's with AI or environmental risks or economic or political risks and to kind of help them think through that. So this is kind of like my MVP. It was like minimal viable product or prototype or what have you. And so what I did was in Zapier has thousands of apps. You can access and kind of connect thousands of apps through the API. They're not always seamless, and there can be some friction in how they work together. But you can, with low coding, with some kind of low code troubleshooting, with the help of GPT, you can work through them. And so that's what I've had to do. And someone's asking a question, is this for building Android? No, this is for workflows. So let's say you want some to automate certain tasks. So for me, this is automating a plan generator that I want to email to potential clients. So it's sort of like um, just a minimal free resource that potential clients can use to help them begin thinking about their strategic planning process. I've also done one for teachers since I have a background in working with teachers around climate change projects and service learning. So I did another one that generates a lesson plan and a climate project kind of service learning plan for teachers. You can also do this for businesses, use it for customer engagement. So a customer, let's say, sends an email, or let's say maybe uses a chat bot, and then they set up these Zapier workflows to help follow up with the client, maybe shoot them an email to just kind of keep them engaged. So it helps with just automating certain tasks, everyday tasks. And so the key output here for me was an email that will be sent to users of the tool of really, which is just Google Forms. So the user fills out a Google form, and the user in this case is a nonprofit client. They fill out a Google form, which is this form. Let me go back. They fill out this form, which is much longer, but you can't see it here. And the form generates through a series of these steps here that you see. And it's Zapier's user-friendly. You can set up a free account and just try it out. So the form, if you understand Google Forms, you know that when all of the data is put into a spreadsheet, so that spreadsheet is filtered with certain conditions, and you kind of set that up in Zapier. Zapier has some tools that it already it configures some things for you, but again, there can be some friction there, so you have to sort that out. And what I find helpful is to take screenshots of the problems I'm running into, put it in GPT, and then just kind of get some coaching on how to address it. And then for this particular tool, there were a number of issues that I started out with just something very general, like a general prompt for AI to generate a response just based on what the client says their issues are, and that kind of with hallucinations and all kinds of issues with AI, that's not a good idea. So then I created these lookup tables that help the LLM. In this case, I'm using ChatGPT, which you see down here, send prompt. So ChatGPT takes all of these files, these Excel files that you see, the little Excel icon, or is Google Sheets. It takes all of the data that I input, which is just information about the conditions that are, kind of the conditions associated with problems like climate risk and economic pressures and certain barriers. And so it helps kind of add context to the output. And then from there, the ChatGPT sends a prompt to Gmail, and actually ChatGPT sends the prompt and organizes it into a PDF and then sends it through Gmail to the client. So that's how that works. And they can, let me show you here. The other step I had here, because it was a low code tool, and I'm working on something in Replet that's more that's more of an app or website. But for now, the second step I had here, just to give you an idea, is they get the plan, but then they can post the plan here in this chatbot and continue iterating on the plan so that it's not a final, they don't see it as a final document, which is really, really important. And I show this here, this code here is, I wanted to, so the idea for this, after a series of, it took a little while, after a series of iterative prompts with GPT, we concluded that this might be a good MVP to try out. And GPT suggested that I create this form with a lot of data points that I'll be at, a lot of fields. And at the time, because I was trying to figure out Zapier's, all of that, all of what I was going through with Zapier, which is easy to get started, but when you want to get fancy and do add on different features, and it can get challenging. And so I was knee deep in that and didn't really feel like doing all of what GPT was saying I should do in writing this form. So I asked it to create a, how do I do this quickly? How do I generate this form quickly so I can go ahead and test it and keep moving with Zapier, And so GPT gave me this Google Apps script, this code that I could use in Google Apps script to auto-generate the Google form. And so that made it really easy. And from there, I was doing so many, once I figured that out, I've done so many of these forms. So, and you can also, so this is, don't let this feed into your work slot production, but if you're short on time and this is just for you to test things out, you can have GPT really generate all of your content, all of your fields, all of it, right? And so I started out that way because I was just kind of testing it and just said, just do what you think. We should just say what you think, write what you think we should say. And I did that so that I can test it out in Zapier. You following me? Do you have any questions so far? Let me just check the chat. You just created agent kit. Yes. So I wanted to, yes, that's David asked a question about API, not API, about GPT's agent. So ChatGPT's OpenAI's GPT agent mode. What it can do, and I tested it, and I'll show you. I see if I can show you what I did with it. I'm using a different GPT account for this workshop, but I tested out GPT in agent mode, and what it can do, it can't do automated it can't do automated tasks the way Zapier does. So where you could just set it up. So like right now, even though I'm hosting this workshop, there could be people using you could try it out now and you'll get an email with, the resilience plan generator without me having to do anything. With GPT's agent mode, you can generate really, really decent output, documents, research reports, various reports, data analysis, PowerPoint presentations. It's not bad. But okay, Ray is filling us in on what it is. So Ray says OpenAI is learning from the market and copying what they see others do well. Google has Opal and Joule, which are other variations. And none of them are exactly what Zapier does, but they are pointing in the same direction, yes. And Google has Stitch, which is used for designing UX. So yeah, that's been my experience so far. I tested it yesterday just to see if it was worth showing to you today. If you have agent mode, I can show you snippets, so I'll pull that up. So now let's switch off to Replet. Have any of you been using Replet at all? Vibe coding on Replet? Okay, David's using Replet. David, tell us what you're building on Replit. And Samuel Carter says he agrees that OpenAI is just absorbing the market and copying, making it better. So yeah, with Replit, I've been doing the whole vibe coding thing, which is supposed to be just taking your ideas and just really just prompting Replit to create something for you. And it's not as easy as it sounds, but you can, after a few iterations, it took me about a week of maybe, so let's say in hours, I would say about 7 to 8 hours to get this app somewhat functioning. I'll share it with you. Can you see my screen? Um, it'll take, well, I'll have you guys, I'll walk through it a little bit and you can check it out. But it's coming together, but it took a while to, can you see this? No, you can't see it yet. Yeah. Um, well, you can go to the link and I'll paste it I'll paste it in our resources page. And so with Replit, the idea, wait, let me just share it because I want you to see what, um, with Replit, the idea is that you're just building apps through prompting and just by kind of talking to Replit, but it gets a little more complicated than that. And to troubleshoot, again, I am just using, can you see this screen now? Yes? Was the same? No, I'm sorry. I'm having a glitch. Um, Wait, someone had a message in the chat. So David said he's using it to make music production a little easier. And Ray says you can use, oh, back to the app script. Ray was saying you can use the app script and then ask Google to explain the code so you can verify that it does what you want it to do. Yes. So yeah, when the code doesn't work, then I have to go because that happens too. GPT writes code for you, but then it doesn't work, and you have to go back and say this actually is not working. So yeah, and then you have to kind of go through that iterative process. So Deanne, when you say same, you're using Replit for music, and I'm just for the slide. Oh, okay. Let me I'm trying to show you the Replit tool before. Um, Give me 1 second. Okay, can you see my screen now? So, just to give you an idea of how it works. So over time, it started out like very, yeah, there wasn't much working with, wasn't much, the user interface and user experience wasn't great. And then over time, I had to work on it. So what AI does here is just generates a project plan for teachers. And I've used the APIs here are from the iNaturalist and GBIF, which is a global biodiversity um, information facility, which is a hub of researchers are pulling together all of their data on just biological, well, ecological issues globally, as well as uploading data from going back more than 100 years. And so it kind of generates projects and lesson plans and pulls data from from the local, not from the local school district, but from just the national Common Core for science. So still working on it. And then another tool that I'm not ready to share yet. Well, do you have any questions about this tool? So this was all done with on Replet. It's still on Replet. And you can check it out, try it out. I don't have a database on it yet, so it doesn't store anything. So you have to, if you generate anything, you want to print it out. Do you have any questions about that tool? Let me know. And so the other thing I'm working on in Replit is because I'm a huge fan of design thinking and just that framework, I'm just thinking about AI fluency and project-based learning with AI. So mastering AI through project-based learning, because that's how I've been learning. I think that's how most of us learn through actually working on stuff. And so I'm using a tool here to kind of guide users through, to guide them through a project that they develop and kind of using AI to help. But I'm still kind of thinking through what this is going to look like. But what made it easier this time around. So where this app took a lot more time than I thought it would. This one is kind of coming together a little bit easier. And what I told Replit, since I have the account, is to use the basis of the first app to inform the design of the second. And that's been really helpful. And I pulled in, there's like a learning assistant that Ray actually authored. And I put that in and tweaked it. So it's coming together. And I'll share that as well. And so, do you have any questions about Replit? Where's my chat? I'm trying to find I find Zoom's UI to be problematic sometimes because now I can't find my toolbar. Let me just stop sharing so I can find it. Okay. Let's see. Are there any workshops? Oh, sure. I'd be happy to host a workshop to practice with Replit. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Yeah, absolutely. Let's I will get all of your contact information and we can work. Yeah, we can work through something together. And just know you can fork this if you have a Replit account, you can take this is public. The Nutmeg app is public. So you can take it and fork it and build on it if you want. But I can also I'll also set up a workshop so we can work on something together. I actually wanted to do that today, but because Replit is it can be glitchy and it can, depending on how the internet is going, it can be a bit slow. And I wanted to make sure I didn't want to set us up to have a win with Replit, and we just sat there watching it spin. So but now that I know we will do that, we'll have more time and we can do that. Yay, so I'm excited. So what else? So do you want to move on to we have 10 minutes left. Do you want to move on to the design jam? Do you want to or I can start something in Replit just so you can see how it works, but it won't be done. So I'm flexible here. So Dave said, let's do something. Let's do that another time, right, David? Okay. Yeah. And Ray is asking, ChatGPT was released in 2022. At what point did you try it? What you presented today was a journey over years, months, or weeks. Good question. This so I started using ChatGPT as soon as I learned that it came out in 2022. And I became interested in the tool and building tools and doing more with AI about a year ago. And so it's been about a year. And then I spent a lot of time. I spent most of that year just working on prompt engineering and I guess and later context engineering. I did a lot of that and then became interested in when I learned about Replet, I wanted to build the tools. And so well, I guess I started with Zapier and then from there I started working on the Replet apps. And really it was just what's been really, really helpful is the AI itself, just using GPT to walk me through. And as you said, Ray's been helpful and other people in the tech, the techies in my in my network, just to help understand. Is it just me that I don't understand it? I don't understand what's going on with this AI stuff. But they're like, no, it's glitchy or it's do I need more memory on my computer? And they, just having that support and feedback is really great. So these communities are great. So I'm happy to uh, host a workshop and also help facilitate if someone else wants to share what they're working on and some tips, some insights. I'm happy to do that. And so, any other questions? We have about 9 minutes left. I wanted to walk through just the I'll share this slideshow with you, but I wanted to walk through just quickly the design thinking framework. So we didn't do the design jam, but I think the framework is helpful moving forward with your just as you're generating output or creating an app or whatever it is you're developing, whatever you're using AI to do, even for yourself. And I've heard of people using AI for medical advice, which sometimes you're like, what is this? You're having a thing. You're like, what is this about? And yeah, that's fine. But you want to, you, you want to balance it out. You want to be very cautious with that. So, yeah, I think this framework can be helpful in just thinking through what you're building, who you're building for, how you think through problems, kind of that critical thinking that is going to be essential in this new era. And there's some tools here that I included. So doing a prompt audit, if you have a team you're working with or you're on a team and you're getting AI work slop, it's like, let me see those prompts that you're using to send me that terrible work. That's a good question for your coworker, right? If you're generating prompts or generating content or apps, you want to interview your users and use various like journey maps for understanding where their pain points are. And there are all kind of visual tools like whiteboards and FigJam and Miro. And of course, data is great. And the data you get back from the apps you're using or just conversations. It doesn't have to be fancy or highly technical. And then for just coming up with ideas, of course, you can brainstorm with AI or with people. And I use ChatGPT together to come up with prompts and context and context engineering frameworks to help guide your work. So if you have a coworker that's struggling or a business partner that's struggling with using AI and generating good content, just kind of maybe helping them. Let me, again, let me see your prompt. Let me see how you're onboarding your AI tool to generate this content. Comparison grids and design sprints and so on. And then, I think if you are, whatever you're doing, like with the Nutmeg app, I've been sending it out, but I know it still needs a lot of work. And as you know, with apps, we've been using smartphones for a really long time and it's constantly updating, it's constantly fixing bugs. Your apps are constantly fixing bugs. It's the same thing with whether you're, using prompts and constantly refining how you prompt or the context and data and documents you use to train your large language model. It's a process. So that is it's an iterative process, I would say, and it's about continuous improvement. So, and definitely, I think the Slacks, I belong to a Slack channel. I'll put the link. I believe it's open to everyone, called the Teolu Connective Collective. And they're some techies, some folks like me just coming into AI recently and from certain domains. And but they're all about learning and sharing and collaborating on projects. So I'll share that as well. And let me post the folder in the chat before I let you go. Any other questions? And for those of you who want the workshop, what's the best way? I have your emails, and so I can set something up. Does that work? Just email. And in the folder, I also have a form that you can fill out to leave your information, your LinkedIn, if you want to stay connected to everyone. Or you could post it here also. Let me see. Let me just get out of here. So, any other questions? Oh, already. Oh, that's great. I'm just gonna reading through everything. Oh, okay. Thanks, Dave. Dave got the book. Dave, I can't call you Dave. I don't know if you. I just give people nicknames without asking them whether or not. But David, thank you for purchasing the book. And I'm glad that you got some insights from it. Um, and Alan, I think. Oh no, that's somebody. That's just AI talking to me. Um, Yeah, so okay, Ray suggested multiple progressive workshops. We'll do we'll do that. Yeah. So let me make sure, let me drop before you go, grab the folder. There's not enough time. I was trying to figure out how much time we'd have, and yeah, we need multiple workshops to make it work. To get, there's only so much you can do. Any other questions or feedback? Okay. How to workshops. Is that what you're okay? So Deanne's saying how to workshops. Yep. Okay. Okay, so I will send out notification about our next workshop. So that thank you for those who had that idea. And I'll share links to the projects in that folder. So just keep track of that folder and I'll continue to update it. So I think that's all for now. I'll stick around in case anyone has any questions. I'll actually I didn't know how many people to expect. So let me see if I can unmute everyone. If anyone wants to stick around and talk, I have oh wait, I have a yes, I will send the recording. Is it still yes, I will send the recording out to everyone. I'll place the recording in the I'll paste the recording in the folder when it's completed so you can have access to it. If you have a question, if you want to ask a question, since we don't have tons of people, you can raise your hand. I'll unmute you. Does anyone want to ask a question or say anything? Yeah, okay.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. So for me, I know I've discovered Replet like last month. I was like, oh, what is this? Like, it's a new coding thing. So for me, I really emphasize on community when it comes to these things because I'm finding out from different sources about all these different AI news that come out every single day. So I was reiterating that they have a workshop that has something to do with practicing ways we told us. especially on weekends, because I try to meet people who do the same thing, coffee
Mhm.
shop. So I'm very like goal oriented when it comes to that, just group learning, and then eventually we help each other lead each other's projects. Are you able to do that on weekends, or are there certain days that you're available for that, or not?
I can do it on Zoom, and we have people here from other countries as well. So I want to make sure everyone can but I can do like Saturdays, and if people maybe once maybe we can maybe plan ahead to do meetup, but that I think it'd be easier for most people here. Yeah,
Also,
yeah, for Zoom. But I will, did you see the AI week? There were a lot of in-person meetups. So go back if you, because I think Deanne had shared this out with a lot of people too. But if you shared my particular workshop, but if you go back and look at all of the AI week NYC workshops, there were a number of in-person events. So I would like reach out to those, just kind of stay in the loop with those folks. It sounds like many of them do regular meetups. So it's
uh, I
AI.
found. Oh,
Mhm.
sorry,
No,
sorry
go
about
ahead.
that.
No, 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 go ahead.
I I just found out about you probably 2 days ago on a group chat I'm a part of. That's how I found out about you. So I never heard of AI Week until now.
Oh, what group chat is that? I'm curious.
Um, I'll tell you right now. Support our newcomers.
Oh, I've never heard of it, but it's good to know. Good to hear. Um,
Somebody named Nova.
oh, Nova. Yeah, I know Nova. Okay, cool.
Yeah, she shared it.
Okay, okay, great. Yes, Nova's a he. Yeah. Great, great, great. Okay,
Um,
that's great. Um, Anyone else have any? So thanks, David. Hope you'll join us online also, but definitely I'll share all the links to the groups that I know of, and maybe you'll find some meetups there that'll work for you.
Please, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Um, Anyone else want to say anything? I don't want to hold you because it's it's 12:02. Well, if that's it, I can I oh wait, someone else. Did I miss where everyone linked in? Oh, Samuel, I'm going to put a if you have the access to the folder, you should have access. Yeah, I put it in the chat, the Google Drive folder. There's a document there where you can access the where you can fill out a form to put your LinkedIn information, and then there will be a spreadsheet with everyone's LinkedIn information on it. Okay. So be sure you grab the folder. I'll also email it to everyone. Okay. So if that's it, I will say bye for now, and I'll be in touch regarding the next workshop. So thank you. Take care.